Oh, I've gained a couple subscribers recently. Good evening, everybody. If you are watching after the fact, then please do feel free to skip ahead to qualifying, as we're just getting everybody else into the lobby and the rest of the stream set up. There will be timestamps in the description for those of you watching after the stream has been live. So you can go into the description and feel free to click on those to get to where you want to be watching this stream from. We will see you in just a moment. Also helps if I do my bloody thumbnail. So I think the music on the menus is like blocked out anyway. I think. I've never heard it on streams.
Oh, okay. Well, I just use the the actual game soundtrack.
I don't. I'll mute my mic and have a look because I don't hear it
anyway. We should have 11 minimum. Deadman is here. Lawrence D hasn't shown up, so we should have 12. We're getting 2 more about to join.
Yeah, it seems like it does, so I can't hear the menu music at all.
Okay.
On the stream, so that's pretty cool.
JBS Steve is updating. Who's the other one? Mason Manier. Windows here. Mr. J. Mr. J.
Am I not supposed to be able to pop streams into commentator streams?
Yeah, put them in commentator streams, please.
Yeah, I can't. I can't. I don't have permission.
Oh, you can't do it? Oh,
nope.
Okay. Let me give me just a sec. Data streams, edit channel, league managers, messages, commentator, send messages. Okay, that should be fixed.
Yeah, awesome.
Spartan, Keith, and Mason. It's just Mr. J, man.
Well, 11's not so bad, I suppose.
Yeah, it's alright. I was hoping for a couple more, but it's fine. Yeah, I'm surprised Femi Fussmaster didn't turn up. I guess he missed all of the pings somehow.
Yes. Hello, Lifebout. Good evening.
Oh yeah, we should have 12 because JBS Steve is joining.
Ah, there we go.
Mr. J, man, can you select your car, please, sir? Williams. Have you seen the drama with Piastri?
Yeah.
Oh my
They
god.
like released. It was
Yeah,
released that he was announced as their driver, and then he's like, "No, I haven't signed anything."
yeah. And he flat out said, "I am not driving for Alpine in 2023."
Oh my god.
Such a mess, but it's brilliant.
Yeah, silly season has begun.
Oh yeah.
I was not expecting Fernando to move, honestly.
No, neither was anyone else.
Maybe he sees something we don't.
Yeah, I assume it's fallout with Otmar, because Otmar's not exactly the most popular man, is he?
No.
Okay, let's go.
Hello, Alex. How you doing, mate? Good day. Is Pommy in tier 2 this season?
Yep, he's just not for this race.
No, it's a shame. It would have been nice if on the circuit, Pommy, but there's plenty of other races to come.
Right, let's go.
12 people watching. Make sure you guys have liked the stream and subscribed to the channel if you've not done already. I see that nobody's liked the stream so far. You guys know exactly who you are. That is everybody watching. So a like does go a long way, so please do just hit that button for us over here. Hello, Rick. It is indeed tier 2 time. Pretty happy on a beach instead of the track right now. Fair enough. I'm not the biggest beach person. I'm not a hugest fan of sand, but but anyway.
And it's coarse, rough, and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, good evening everybody and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 2 for tonight's dose of racing action. I'm Sumo, your commentator this evening, and joining me as always is the 4-time sprint champion and my amazing co-commentator Ghost. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, mate. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a long break, but we're here on the new game with a pre-season race for Tier 2, the first pre-season of any APPF1 season. And it's hopefully going to be a good one. We should have 12 drivers today, which is not too bad for a pre-season turnout. And yeah, we'll have another pre-season race before the season starts next week. And then we'll get underway. But yeah, looking forward to this.
Yes, certainly so. So we are with our Tier 2 drivers this evening for what is the first pre-season race for the championship, as Ghost mentioned. We head to the Circuit Paul Ricard in the south of France to kick off this pre-season for Tier 2's 5th season in APPF1. With LB moving up to Tier 1, the championship is open for a new driver to crown themselves as the Tier 2 champion. We still wait for the season to start fully, but tonight is a good chance to see some of our season's drivers in action. Any thoughts, Ghost?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We've got a few new drivers this season. I mean, Mr. Insomniac, Spartan Keith is Crow's teammate. We've got Sir Swindu has come down to Tier 2 to see what it's all about today. Sir Deadman. Silocket, I'm probably horribly mispronouncing that. But also, and Mason98 is a newbie as well, but also a few regulars from last season have returned, which is always great to see. Muhiti among them, and he's in the Ferrari again this season. That beautiful Scarlet Ferrari. It looks so
it's our
mean
first
here, doesn't it?
spin of the season, as Mr. J-Man has taken out one of the barriers just coming out of, I want to say that's turn 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry.
Oh, that's a shame. I should, if any drivers are watching, I should remind you all that lap records are counted in pre-season races, so you're racing for a bit of APPF1 history as well.
Yeah, Yes, certainly. So a new game does come with its new challenges then in the form of new cars to become one with. This year's cars generate downforce from the floors, meaning that cars can follow closer, they produce less dirty air, and take a lessened effect when the wings are damaged. New tyres will see drivers be more aware of their grip levels and traction when cornering, and strategies will differ from last year due to the removal of the qualifying tyre rules, meaning drivers are free to start on whatever tyre they wish at the beginning of a race. Anything to add, Ghost?
Yeah, it's I honestly don't know any of the strategies around most tracks, so this is going to be new to me as well as everyone else to see what the drivers go with today. But on an unrelated note, I think they might have fixed the spectator gear shift bug that was plaguing us. Because I am not getting horrific high revs when I'm riding on board with other drivers, so that's good.
Excellent stuff. And riding on board with Muhiti, he's the first to go out onto the circuit for a hot lap. He's had a pretty clean sector 1, and he's coming down the main straight now in towards this very hard braking zone, this left-right chicane here, as he brakes as late as he dares, really cuts over that curb, and you want to try and cut this little curb here as much as possible to gain as maximum time without getting your lap time invalidated. A decent sector 2 from Muhiti, and now into the twisty sector 3, a flat-out right-hander greets the Ferrari driver, and then a very long corner, a very tricky braking zone to get completely right. And I think Muhiti could have done a little bit better on there, but the exit isn't too bad. And then you want to try and get a nice clean run through this corner if you can. There's a couple different lines you can take, but Muhiti's gone for a much more later approach to that apex. And then he comes through into the last few corners, the twisty little section, into this final hairpin where we saw Carlos Sainz make a great move on Sergio Perez a few weeks ago, and it opens up the DRS and comes all the way down towards the line to set the pace for this evening. Tonight's action is brought to you once again by Positive Perception Media Design Products. If you love seeing cool livery designs, please head over to their socials and catch all of those amazing liveries that they do in both the virtual world and the real world. I do truly love seeing some livery designs. I love a bit of livery design myself, and I hope you guys do as well, so please do check them out and give them all the love and support that you can.
I've been riding on board with Mason98, one of our newbies, in the Alpine. He's had a fairly clean lap so far. It was a little bit squirmy in one section of Sector 2, but he's coming around the final corner now, a little bit wide, so Swindu sets a 32.3, which is about 0.6 faster than Muhiti. But here comes Mason. It's going to be a 34.6 to put him just ahead of QB for now.
I think Mr. Insomniac is making his way through Sector 3 now. It looks like a fairly decent lap time for the moment. I'm not seeing his sector times though, and it's still a little bit dodgy with the first runs and how quick all the drivers are. But coming through the final sector is the AlphaTauri now, one of our new drivers here in Tier 2, looking to put a name down for himself, and he spins going out of turn 14, and that will ruin that lap for certain.
That's a shame. Hopefully his race has a bit of a better start than his qualifying session has had. You always hate to see newbies spinning around and having a bad time. Pretty much the opposite of a newbie, Tia is coming across the line. He goes 7th, so Deadman goes on to pole position for now with 31.6, but yeah, Tia, he's certainly been around a while. The second most races of anyone in all of APPF1. He has over 100 races here.
Wow.
So one of our biggest veterans of the league, and it's great to see him that's still on track.
I think I'm still yet to reach my 100th race.
Yeah, you're still on 99.
Yeah, it doesn't help that Sprints has been off for so long.
Yeah.
But here comes QB. That's very deep in the last corner. I wouldn't recommend that line for that particular turn in the track. I'm trying to find someone out on a lap. I think Mr. J-Man's on an out lap, so we'll follow along with the Williams. This is actually the first time I've seen the cars in the game, at least on the outside. I've only ever been in the cockpit throughout my experience of F1 22, so it's nice to be back in the commentary box watching the race unfold rather than being a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always, nice to sit back and watch a race sometimes. It's great to be behind the wheel, but sometimes you just need to, relax and talk about others screwing up their races instead of screwing up your own.
Yes, indeed. And down through to start his lap comes Mr. J-Man. Then had a bit of an up and down season last time out in Tier 2, and is looking to make some amends for sure, and see what he can do in this new regulation of cars. There'll be a few drivers to keep your eye on. The two, Deadman and Swindu, are looking fairly quick at the moment. Muhitti's coming off the back of a very strong season last time out, and his teammate Pommy Alex can't be here this evening, but that Ferrari pairing could be quite the challenge.
Absolutely. I think there's a few teams that could really mount a challenge this season. Depending on how fast Spartan Keith is, because we don't really have an idea of his pace. But that Red Bull pairing, if Spartan Keith's anything like LB, they'll be still a formidable pair. As you say, Ferrari, AlphaTauri, I think will be very good this season. Aston Martin could be contenders. But it's quite a few unknowns. Mercedes as well, you can't forget about them. Last season's AlphaTauri. If they keep it consistent, they can be right well up there with the championship chance. So all to play for.
Yeah, certainly. So Mr. J-Man went very, very deep in that long right-hander of turn 12, and that will hamper his lap time for certain. As he comes across the line, it's a 1 minute 36.8, which sees him go into P8.
I'm just trying to edit my heads-up display so the yellow flag doesn't cover the laps.
Spartan Keith coming through to start his first lap at the moment in the Red Bull. This will be a good indicator of his pace as he comes out. Very committed into this little twisty section there, really using all of the track possible. It looks fairly clean from the Red Bull coming through that first sector as he comes down into this flat out sector 2, all the way down to the chicane at the midpoint of this long straight. So hey Morales, how you doing, buddy? It's a long time no see.
Oh, Miralez, I do remember you.
Yes,
great
I remember having an incredible battle with Morales in Japan for a fair few laps. That was a great race.
Oh yeah, it's good to see. We've got a few old guard have turned up to the streams, haven't they? The last few times. So
it's always nice to see some familiar faces in the chat. You're more than welcome. 12 people watching still, only 5 likes, so you people still know who you are. If you haven't left a like on the stream, I'd really much appreciate it. But here comes Spartan Keith. Not going to be the quickest of times, but a 33.3 for the Red Bull. It puts him up into P4, just behind Muhitti, on the almost on the fringes of the 1 minute 32s.
That's a good time, actually. If Spartan Keith has that sort of pace, I'd say that's fairly similar to Crozer. So I think they could be a good team to watch this season if he's consistent in races. That's the other thing.
Indeed. Muhitti's 4/10 up on his previous best. It won't see him get too close to the likes of Sir Deadman or Sir Swindu, but if he can nail this sector 3, he could at least close that gap down fairly significantly as he comes round the final corner now. That looked fairly clean from the Ferrari, although I think he's backed off at the end of the lap, so that won't be a completed lap time for the Ferrari. But here comes Cello KRT in the Alfa Romeo, crosses the line of 33.4, puts himself just behind Spartan Keith. And I think Mr. Insomniac will be next across the line. He's 11 seconds up on his previous best. Had a horrible lap spinning in the final corner, so he's got all the time in the world to make up as he comes down towards the line to finish his lap. It's a 31.7, so a decent lap from the AlphaTauri.
Yep, certainly is. I think those three are well ahead of the competition, at least for now. Muhiti is, I think he either abandoned that lap or didn't do, or screwed it up at the end. That previous one where he was 4/10 up, because he has not improved. But yeah, other than those top three, the pace is pretty close between sort of fourth down to P7. Those four drivers pretty close, and QB, I think, is one who's going to improve quite a lot on this new game. At least I hope so. He's certainly doing a little bit better. He's about a second off the pace, but that's, I mean, we've seen QB before. He's very consistent, but he's not been the fastest in APPF1, to put it mildly. So I think there's definitely new game, fresh start, room for him to be a bit closer to the pace this season.
Yeah, certainly. So with a new regulation of car, it fits into driving styles that may, in previous games, may not have been a perfect match for some drivers, and QB could be among the likes of drivers who see themselves improve. It'll be nice for QB to get himself up into the midfield a bit more, and be battling some cars rather than the odd car that finds themselves toward the back with QB. But QB always does bring home solid points, even if he's not finishing in the top 5 on a consistent basis. He's certainly finishing races, which is the best you can do as we score points for every position here in APPF1.
Absolutely. Although after a very recent slight edit to the scoring system, it's no longer 1 point per position, as it were. Now we've got extra bonuses if you finish on the podium, and if you take the win, you take even more. So I think it's going to be still going to be a focus on consistency with our point system. It's still not going to be too much of a, if you win 2 races, you win the championship. But winning races is going to get you a much bigger advantage than it used to in APPF1, and I think that's a good thing. It'll help drivers really push for the wins and the podiums instead of being content with finishing 4th or 5th just to rake those points in. They'll really think if they have a chance to get on that podium, they'll go for it.
Yeah, certainly. So QB has improved by 6/10. He sees himself just on the edges of the 1 minute 33s. And Mr. J-Man's invalidated his current lap. He's a second up thus far as he's crossed the Sector 2 line, but it won't be to any avail, as this lap will not count for the Williams driver, so he will have to hop into the pit lane and go again. I just want to check, Ghost, what time does your clock say?
Mine says 2 minutes 9 seconds.
Okay, so I don't have a bug anymore with an incorrect clock time, so that's a relief.
Incredible.
So I now have the accurate time on here.
Is this a sandbox for testing new rules for real F1? Well, if we brought the APPF1 stewards into real F1, I think things would be a lot better, wouldn't they, Sumo?
Yeah, they certainly would, although our workload would go up a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, but then we get paid.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. And I mean, we do accept donations to any drivers who are willing to put them away. They're definitely not bribes, they're certainly donations. But anyway, oh, that was a very big corner cut from Sir Swindu there. He was in another postcode. He cut that corner so much. So he'll be going round again to set that lap for sure. There was a lot of drivers in the real F1 cutting that particular corner, turn 3. And Sir Swindu has done it himself. But Mr. Insomniac, I don't know when he put that lap in, but he's just spun as I've gone on to him. So commentator's curse does indeed return here in Tier 2. And but he's only a tenth off of Sir Deadman. So it's not too far off. And I think Muhiti might be able to find some more lap time. But I'm not sure he'll get too much. It depends. It's not really seen what these drivers can do in these new cars just yet.
Oh, Mason's gone for a spin at turn 2. But yeah, you're right. I mean, having said that though, nearly a second off, well, over a second off pole, but nearly a second off the top 3 is not what Muhiti would have had in mind.
1.2 for Sir Swindu. He's coming up towards the line now. This could be a 1 minute 30. It is. It's a 1 minute 30.7. But
it was invalidated.
It's invalidated, so it doesn't count. There we go. That was a very quick lap.
And it's synchronized spinning at turn 2, and Muhiti's out. So Swindu's retired as well, so Muhiti will not improve. Can Spartan Keith put a dent in that Ferrari's time? Jamie F1 goes P8 with his only lap of the session, so he'll be hoping to get further up in the race. But here comes the Red Bull through the Sector 2 chicane and coming up to Sector 3 now. Here he comes. Can he put anything into Muhiti's time? He's 6.5 tenths up, so maybe. He's only 4 tenths down on Muhiti, so here comes Spartan Keith to go into P3. Sir Deadman does a 31.4. Mr. Insomniac can't improve, so it's all down to Spartan Keith now as he comes through the final sector.
I was watching Sir Deadman as he came along. It looked like a very clean Sector 3. It's all up to Spartan Keith, as you say. He's coming through the final sector now. That's turn 13, that long right-hander, then quickly into turn 14, and then a quick little hairpin for turn 15, the final corner, focusing on exit, as it's going to give you the most speed possible as you enter this straight toward the line. It's only a 32.4, puts him up ahead of Muhiti and into the top 4 and on the second row of the grid.
Critical lap from Spartan Keith, and I think that confirms that Red Bull are going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. We were waiting on the pace of Spartan Keith, Croza's teammate for this season, but it certainly seems like he's going to be pretty formidable. We'll have to see how they go in the races, though, because that is what you get the points for, of course.
Yes, certainly so. Hello, Mason. He says he should do a lot better in the race, and I hope that is the case for you. As qualifying wasn't your best, but I'm sure you will get a bit more out of that car during the race. But that is going to be your qualifying for this evening. These guys actually rapid, or what's good pace around here? I wish I could tell you, Pommy. I really wish I could tell you what the good pace around here is. I've not actually had enough racing experience on the game yet myself. But anyway, Sir Deadman takes pole position then, with Mr. Insomniac lining up alongside him on the front row. Sir Swindu and Spartan Keith make up row 2, sat in positions 3 and 4, with Muhiti rounding off the top 5. Solo KRT sits in P6, with Mason 98 and Jamie F1 in P7 and 8. QB and Tier round off the top 10, with Mr. J-Man sat in P11, rounding off all of our competitors for this pre-season race. They are certainly very quick, those guys up in the 31s and the high 32s. LB, that is Lawson. Hello Ash as well, it's nice to see you back. See 14 watching, 5, yeah, indeed, certainly. There's now 8 likes, so we're just over half of the people watching now, so there's still 6 of you who haven't dropped a like on the stream. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, that would be appreciated. I'm getting ever so closer to that 100 subscribers, but we're still not quite there yet. and it would be very nice to do that as we go into the new season. Fantastic P5 coming. Indeed, Mr. P5, Pommy Alex. I'm sure he really wants to finish ahead of P5, but it's just not allowed. We'll wait and see. We're on the countdown now for the race. This will be the first streamed race from me in terms of commentary, I think, for F1 2022, with many more to come as we go throughout the game so far. I'm not sure what day I started commentating, but it must be approaching a year now.
Oh, I got gutted for JBS Steve. Yeah, he had a game update. He just joined about, I mean, it must have been 20 seconds too late to get a place on the grid, so that is
a shame.
Annoying for him, but oh well, there's another one to come.
Yes, there certainly is. I know we're still, if you're wondering why it's taken us so long to get into league racing at the moment, it's just due to the stability of the game. Still a lot of our community members are on PS4, and the PS4 seems to be lacking a few stability updates, which are making the game a little bit hard to play for the moment. A big one at the minute is an audio error with the cars sounding very staticky, which makes it very hard to drive, especially over a long period of time. That is why we have been a little bit late on here, as JBS Steve has left the session. That is a shame. He could not make it to compete in the race, but as Ghost said, there will be another pre-season race to come beforehand, as everyone's rounding off. A lot of people using the number 2, I noticed.
Yeah, it confuses the app. It doesn't like it.
Yeah. I mean, I've always stuck with the number 97. It was my racing number when I did some racing in real life, so I've sort of kept that as I've gone along.
Yeah, we've got 5 people using the number 2.
Wow.
Look at these tyre situation, by the way, Sumo. We've got, what's that, 5 drivers on the hards, another 5 on the mediums, and Mr. J-Man at the back has gone for softs. Mason98 has left the session. Hopefully he can get back in, because for some reason Codemasters removed the ability to invite people while you're in a race, so yeah. Well, hopefully you need that.
That is very annoying, that lack of that ability, but the drivers are lining up now, and it's the, what would you call it, immersive stops. See, this is why you see drivers not all just stopping anymore, and they're all coming in on their own steam now, and it's quite easy to get it right. Sometimes you just sort of get it perfect, but
he says as half the grid gets it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I find it quite easy, but half the grid did struggle there a little bit, especially the Ferrari of Mihiti, who I believe got reset and is in the unoptimal position, I believe is what happens when that happens. We also will be turning for the pit stops, so the times for the pit stops will be a little bit differing depending on when you can get that turn in, which is a feature I actually quite like. These are a couple features that they've actually brought in that are decent, but I think we might be suffering with a start delay. As Mason98 has joined back in, that might have been the reason for the start delay. A lot of drivers have been disqualified, I think, for their parking in their grid slots. We're waiting for this race to get underway.
Maybe once Mason gets back in his car, we'll start.
Yeah, I think we've got a start delay, Lawson. I think Mason leaving the session has broken the lobby, which is no surprise at all. It was a big bug at the beginning of F1 2021. Still not a stable game, thanks Codemasters. as we sit and wait for those green flags, which are being waved, but the lobby is not loading correctly. Indeed, what a surprise. Who could have saw that coming, right?
So that's Windows says EA Sports, it's in the game.
Oh dear. I don't like to use the word bribery, Rick. Donation. We've got to help poor Jacko out. That poor man is stuck all the way in Scotland, living in poverty. Oh dear. 19 watching at the moment. I think most of the drivers are tuning in to see what's actually going on at the moment. 9 likes, 20 watching now.
Right.
So
let's reset the lobby.
And a lobby reset. There we go then. We do apologise. This will be back as quickly as possible, as we've got to reset the lobby. Oh, and I will make sure to leave the lobby, as that is not the actual race. I hope everybody has got the memo, especially if they're watching the stream for the moment.
If they're seeing everyone else leave, they should get the memo, even if they don't get the ping on Discord.
But I will apologise once again. We'll get everything back under control. Yes, indeed. And that is yet another reason why the season has been on a bit of a delay for the moment. It's just the amount of bugs and errors that we continue to encounter.
France, and the weather was dry, I'm hearing, so we'll keep it dry.
Portimao back in the game. Oh, I didn't really enjoy that track anyway.
Yeah. I think that's everything as far as that's concerned. Am I still live in the lobby? Yeah, good. Okay. Sort of. And then weekend structure, disable qualifying, custom grid. Okay, let's give everyone an invite. So, who have we got? Lineups.
I don't know, I could never find pace at Portimao. I don't know what it was, so I was just never quick.
The Deadman, Mr. Insomniac, Saswindu, Croza. I wonder where's that one? Wait, what? That wasn't Croza, that was Spartan Keach, what the hell?
Oh, if you think the V6 coffee table was great, wait till you see this in the store. Hold on, where is it? This, mate, I saw this a little while ago and this really made me laugh. If I can't find it. Is it the item shop? Yes. The Devon Butler poster. Or painting. Oh dear. Face of pure evil.
Oh, and you, SUMO, obviously.
Yes, me.
Would help.
Had any more supercars yet? No. God.
On all the sofas, I think that's a worthy investment. Gotta have the best sofa.
You know, we'll have a little bit of a rant, won't we? Why have they spent so much time on F1 Life when it's a load of rubbish? They could have spent more time making a stable game across all platforms, because you know what I've heard that there is a strong chance that when cross-platform does come around, there will be certain platforms that will have an advantage over other platforms. because of how the game handles on those other platforms. So I've heard it's playing this game on PC, for example, is a lot easier than playing it on console, from what I've heard, at least, which seems very detrimental to the cause. And then, like, why do we get sofas and not the ability to create our own helmets or create our own liveries? Why do other racing games allow us to do that, but Formula One can't do that? I'd love to have the answers to these questions, Codemasters. I really would. Best spectate. We don't want to get anything. Curves feel different from console. Yeah, I have heard that as well. Actually, the curbs feeling different. And on another note on the curbs, I really hope they get rid of sausage curbs soon, because yeah, I do like that feature. The full control over formation lap is great. The turning in on the pit stop. I've always been like, oh, why is the pit stop for everybody a 2.6 no matter what you do? It's just, I don't know, it's a cool little feature to have in, but this game just needs a huge polish. Indeed, but it looks like we're getting back underway. JBS Steve would be happy that we've reset the lobby, as it gives him a chance to come in and race. So we've got 20 seconds until lobby start, but everyone is slowly and surely readying up. Any thoughts going ahead into the season, Ghost? Are you looking forward to any races in particular? What are you looking forward to seeing out of this year's game?
I am looking forward to the new layouts. Like Spain and Abu Dhabi, I think are vastly improved. So I'm looking forward to those tracks. I think I think I prefer this game, just how it handles and how it goes, to the previous game. Anyway, so I think there's not a lot I'm not looking forward to be honest. Bahrain, maybe not, because I've never had a good history around there. But yeah, yeah, I think it should be fun.
I'm also looking forward to the possibility of tracks that we've not seen in a little while making appearances on to our calendars going forward. I'm hoping for the likes of Turkey, Hockenheim. Where else? It would be cool if they added Kyle Army, but I don't think they'll do that. Maybe Nürburgring, that could be a good one as well. Adding a few of those in. Malaysia, of course. Adelaide. I don't know. There's a lot of tracks they could bring back, which would be cool. I remember F1 2013 had Brands Hatch. That was an awesome track.
Spartan Keith is back. Good.
Yes, hopefully there will be no lobby crashes this time. We'll go straight into a formation lap and then into the race itself. A few eager beavers there. Spartan Keith gets a little bit over eager on the start of the formation lap, but he finds himself back into P4 at the moment as the drivers begin their lap of warming up. And let's see if the tyre strategies have changed between anybody at the moment. We'll have a look. Still fairly similar actually. The only addition, of course, is JBS Steve starting on the medium tyre and being in the race in general. I think there's one extra hard runner as well.
Yes, there is, definitely. Muhiti says he's forgot his setup, so
oh gosh,
that's going to be an issue for him. Hopefully Spartan Keith lagging out doesn't break the lobby again.
Hopefully. We will have to see.
Hopefully he can get back in as well.
we'll have to wait and see for what happens as we go. Almost finished on the lap. Just trying to think of more tracks that we could eventually see down the line. I feel like they're going to be quite lazy with it, to be honest. I don't know. I just get that feeling they're just going to add tracks that we've already had. Mason has also forgotten his setup.
Oh no!
Preaching to the choir. Honestly, the amount of times I've been on the grid for a sprint race and I've forgotten to add my setup is. If I had a pound for every time I'd done that, I'd be a very rich man. And just
easy to do.
Very easy to do. And actually, that reminds me of something. Is I was very frustrated with Crofty during last week's Formula 1 Grand Prix. The amount of times he got stuff wrong was just so. Oh my god. Getting Lewis Hamilton and George. Only last race, I know. But like, it was really bad. It was like getting Lewis Hamilton and George Russell mixed up. Come on, mate. You're the voice of Formula 1. Oh my word. Those are some terrible.
Windy.
Jesus. I'm
yeah,
sure
I cannot stand him. Never been able to stand him.
Wow.
Yes. Please let the race start this time, please.
Hopefully we do get it. Come on, Codemasters.
Come on.
Oh. Everyone's lined up.
Everyone's lined up.
Nobody's moving. Oh, nothing's happening.
Oh my god.
Please not again. How can they not get simple things right? Oh.
Yeah, I think I might turn formation lap off for the next attempt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reset one more time. Just one more attempt. If it fails again, then we'll.
Do apologise for this once again. It seems Codemasters cannot make a good stable lobby to save their lives. I shouldn't be surprised really, and I'm not. But looks like we're going to go for attempt number 3 at this pre-season race. We will have some racing action eventually. I'll back out once again. And we will wait for the lobby to be reset for what hopefully is the final time. And I'll say it now before I forget. If those of you forgot your setups, don't forget them this time. You've got a second chance.
Yep. Weekend, load save.
Indeed. It's incredibly worrying, especially with cross-platform around the corner, that the servers are still this unstable.
It's when people. It seems like when people lag out during the formation lap, and then it just completely breaks. I think if this carries on in the following weeks, we might have to consider just not running formation lap for the start of the season.
Yeah. Might be the best thing.
It was the same last game, wasn't it? Where you just had formation lap broke everything for the first few months.
Yeah, I do remember that.
What's the formation lap? Is it fools and flags? Yes. Okay, formation lap off. Right. And also I need to disable qualifying. Okay. Let's get everyone an invite again. Emphasis on again. Right. So Deadman, Solokas, Swindu, Mr. Insomniac.
Yes, they certainly did, Mason. The equivalent of Spinala.
Offline. I think Spartan Keith might be having some internet issues. There he is. Mohiti. Gone. Saloka, Mason, Jamie, Julia, Steve, QB. Where's QB? There. Tia. And Mr. J-Man. And JBS Steve. Why is that only 13? No, that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Invites back out. We're looking for 12 people, so 4 missing.
Remember to turn off Formation Lab.
Yep, Formation Lab is off.
Awesome.
Oh, I need to set the weather to dry.
Yes. Hopefully this time we shall get some racing. I'm sure they will. This will be our first proper racing action in terms of league action. No points, of course, it is just pre-season, but there's the league action is beginning slowly but surely, and it'll all depend on how Cody's go forward with the rest of the updates at the start of the seasons. Just to check, chat, can you hear any of the menu music on here? Because I'm pretty certain I can't hear it on my streams. And I'm just going to ask if you guys can hear it. I don't know. I feel like I feel like I'm definitely not going mad, but I don't know. I just want that second clarification. I mean, I don't care if I get copyright striked anyway, but it's only a small channel. But no, awesome. So it does do that then. It does just cut away the music for streaming, which is very good. Means I can sit here in the menus and stream and enjoy it. Yeah, it really is. I was right about it. I think my first stream on this game, I streamed, and then I was like, oh no, I can't stream with the music on, so I turned it off, and then realised a little while later that it didn't play, which is very cool. Yeah, one thing they got right for sure.
Mr. Insomniac, Swindu, Martin Keith isn't here, Mohiti, Soloka, Mason, Jamie, QB, Tia, Mr. J-Man, and Steve.
hopefully Spartan Keith can find his way back into the lobby before the race starts, but I don't think he'll have his grid position, which will not be ideal for the Red Bull driver. But we are getting underway, and hopefully this time straight into some racing. I do want to apologise once again. There's not very little we can do when these bugs do occur. I know it is inconvenient, especially when you guys are itching to see some racing. I don't know. My opinion stands on the supercars. I think they could have, they should have added Formula 3 and the W series. They won't do that. Or if they do, I'll be very shocked, honestly. But I think it would be cool. And I mean, the main style of the attraction really is the single player stuff, like the career mode and content and all that. And I guess the only other thing is they need a massive improvement to the multiplayer system, because it has been a mess for far too long. Far too long.
It's just annoying because they produce good games that do, like, they're not as much as people complain and say, oh, it's like FIFA, it's a copy paste. I disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think these games are copy paste games. They do take a lot forward, but you have to. They're annual games. You can't make a completely new game once a year. It's impossible. But we're off.
There we go. I've got no options on my spectator menu at the moment, but they're going again. It looks like a very tentative start from a lot of the drivers. A great start from Jamie F1 to make his way up. There's a big crash. There's QB hitting the barrier and spinning. It's side by side for the Alpha Tauri. 3 wide into the corner, in fact, as Sir Swindoo gets himself ahead of the Aston Martin, and it's a safety car already, it seems, as all of the drivers are bunched right up. And lap 1, the safety car has come out. So the racing halted almost immediately after a huge crash.
Wow. Well, no one DNF'd, so I'm surprised the safety car came out, especially since it's on reduced. At least it should be. I will just quickly check that. I'm pretty sure it is. Closing flags, safety car. Yeah, it's on reduced, so yeah. Bit of an odd one. Not the start to a race you want to see, but at least it gives Mr. J-Man an opportunity to change his wing, because he was very unlucky to get caught up in that spin for QB at the start. But yeah, we do have a safety car, and we will be going round all the way around the track to catch up to it, and then we'll have, I think, one or two laps under it, so good start.
Very anticlimactic start to a race there, as safety car neutralising it after turn 2. But it's better than the safety car not appearing ever. So there are silver linings, of course. Sometimes you see a car stranded in the middle of the track and you won't even get a whiff of a safety car, or even a virtual safety car sometimes. So let's be happy. Good for QB as well. He'll get himself back in the race. He'll be able to change that wing, of course. It doesn't affect too much in terms of downforce, but it can be felt, but not as much as if you had floor damage, for example.
Yeah, well, this is what pre-season is all about. This is what we're here for. It's just weird glitches and people spinning out. This is what this is for, to get people back up to speed, so we can get up to speed with what the game is like. Yeah, it's all good practice, and the season is still a couple of weeks away, so a while to get back into the groove.
Yeah, certainly so. A good start from Sir Swindu, using those medium tyres to good effect. He's got himself up into P2 and leads the pack around under this safety car period. Jamie F1 had a great start, gets himself up 2 positions, with Tier getting himself up 3 positions, the highest positions gained after the first lap for the Aston Martin. So a good start for the APPF1 veteran. And JBS Steve gets himself up a couple places after the misfortunes of Mr. J-Man and QBV, who have both got themselves a little time penalty as well to add to their miseries. And it looks like 5 seconds for J-Man and 3 for QB. So speeding in the pit lane and track limits, I want to say.
Yeah, QB managed to get his track limits penalty while under the safety car, which I'm not quite sure how he managed to do that, but
never a proud moment, getting a track limits warning under safety car. But alas, we'll go around for one more lap under safety car, I think, as all of the drivers have now closed up on each other. And we will restart this race under safety car.
yeah, got the Mercedes safety car for this track. Red Mercedes car with it's like you've got black stripes on it this season as well.
I think I do prefer the Aston. I think it's just an aesthetic thing for me.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know, I guess I'd never really liked the red on the Mercedes either. The silver would have been better, I think.
Yeah, that's just Ineos playing just giving them a lot of cash to say, make some of your car red, and Mercedes are like, we will sacrifice aesthetics for a few million dollars.
There's a difference, isn't there? Because it's AMG and then there's Mercedes-Benz, isn't there? So there's two different things. And I think Mercedes-Benz is more of the racing side, or like road car side, and AMG is more of the sports car thing. I don't know that much about Mercedes, to be honest.
Who knows?
Who knows? I don't know. I'll send Toto an email and see how we go.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
Yes, he will.
Getting, an email from the great commentator Sumo Gilligan.
Yes, indeed.
In this lap, here we go.
In this lap, so Sir Swindu will lead around the pack, becoming the effective safety car for the first time in the 2022 game here in APPF1, and he'll be looking to get a decent restart, the likes of George Russell. That will hopefully slingshot him away from the drivers behind him, and not do a Checo Perez and get caught napping. Will he go early? Will he go late? We're yet to see. He's got until that safety car peels its way into the pit lane, and once it does, it's there until the line that he's got to go. I think he's going to leave it late as he comes into that final corner, probably on the exit of turn 15. And so they're all really bunching up, all slowing down. And I think he's gone. Yes, he has. He's opened up the battery and he's caught Deadman out a little bit as they go down the main straight. And Deadman's got to look behind him now as he's got other cars chasing away as the race is back underway. And Sir Swindu has already opened up that gap quite majorly. Mason making his way past the Alfa Romeo of Cello KRT. There's a spin in the background. That's Mr. J-Man off at turn 2. That is a shame for him, as he's only just pitted for a ring change after the last incident.
Yeah, certainly is. JBS Steve at the back as well, trying to make a move on the Alfa Romeo, who has just been in free fall while we've been in racing laps. Mason 98, as you say, up to P7.
Tier as well. I was making a move on Jamie F1. He was almost alongside him, and I think backed off at the last moment.
Yeah, fair enough. It's difficult to make a move around that corner without the benefit of DRS. JBS Steve is trying to make a move, but it's going to back out of that one before the long right-hander as the Alfa Romeo goes a little bit wide, and JBS Steve has to think again another day. So Swindu's already got a 2-second gap out front. Mr. Insomniac just behind Sir Deadman, and Muhiti's just about keeping up with the top 3 for now, but I don't know how long that'll last. He's now out of that 1 second range, and I don't think he'll get back in it. I think it's going to be a race for P1 and a race for P4 today, I think.
Yeah, certainly so. Deadman's trying to close up that gap now. It's slowly coming down, but it's a big gap to have after a couple of laps. And I think DRS has been enabled, if I'm not mistaken, as we come along round. Maybe it's one more lap until it's enabled. I can't remember. Something did pop up, but I didn't have time to read it.
I think it should be, maybe it's the 3rd lap after it comes in, so I think it might be the next lap actually.
Next lap, yeah.
JBS Steve finally gets past the Alfa Romeo of Cello KRT as Tia goes for a spin. Oh no! At the long right-hander at the end of Sector 1, and the Aston Martin is going to have to get himself back in this race from 10th place.
Yeah, very easy to do, spin out of that corner. The traction is very tricky to get right, especially as it's such a long and fiddly corner. It doesn't look it, but it's one of the glaring issues on this track, really. It really slows down the run into the main straight along there.
Mason has clearly not got a good handle on his ERS usage in this game yet, because he was down to 0% already down the straight up towards the long right-hander. So yeah, he's going to have to refrain from pressing the overtake button for a little while to get some juice back into that battery, but it's not going to be easy for him with JBS Steve breathing down his neck with 60% more in the battery. With better tyres, I think it's going to be hard for Mason to hold on to that P6 for too much longer.
Yeah, certainly. So we'll switch over to the tyre information so that we can start thinking about strategies, and when they come into play in this race, I think a lot of drivers will be going for a one-stop, with being medium to hard or hard to medium. Not sure exactly the strategy. Perhaps some drivers could do medium soft. We'll be yet to see what happens. Of course, the race is...
Jamie F1! Sorry, JBS Steve! Yeah, it's... Mason has retired from the session. What happened there?
I'm not too sure. I didn't quite see that. I think he might have overcooked it going into the straight and just lost it.
I think so. I don't think Steve was anywhere near him at the time. Well, Steve had already spun, so I think Mason just lost it on the exit, and he is out of this race, which is really unfortunate. We don't get to see a lot of the newbie today, but he had a decent qualifying and a decent race start, getting up a couple of positions, so it's not some positive things to take from the Alpine driver, but he will be disappointed to be out this race already.
Certainly. I like the new spectator. Yeah, the new spectator visuals look alright. I'm a bit annoyed that there's not any like little toys you can play with in spectator. There's not really much customization, I guess, either. But the race seems to have all spread out, especially after that safety car. JBS Steve's on the attack though on Mr. J-Man. Looks like he's going to make the move down into turn 1. They go side by side in towards the first couple of corners, and JBS Steve gets that McLaren ahead before the corner and claims P9 from the Williams. He'll be looking to chase after Tier, who is the next car up the road, but he's got to keep Mr. J-Man behind for the moment. It's mostly the McLarens who are doing most of the attacking at the minute, as Jamie F1 is just out of reach for the moment, but he's closing in on Muhiti. He's keeping him honest and letting him know that he is there. But let's see, Mr. J-Man on the attack again, pulls into the slipstream. DRS isn't so effective on this year's games. It's more, the DRS management is much more crucial than it has been before, but they're going side by side for this next set of corners. That's great racing from the pair of them towards the back here, and JBS Steve manages to keep the position for the moment, but Mr. J-Man goes on the attack again as we come into this fast right-hander. Side by side through here, surely not. It goes through, and I think JBS Steve backs off a little bit, but they're going to continue to go side by side as they come into this long, tricky right-hand corner as JBS Steve's on the outside, but the inside line seems to be much better for Mr. J-Man, and he manages to stay ahead as they come into the next corner.
Lovely battle between these two. This is what we want to see. I know it's a pre-season race and everyone's still getting up to speed, but we still want to see some good battles, and this is one. They've been side by side almost the whole lap, and Mr. J-Man just about managing to keep that position. He'll be glad to be racing with someone after his spin earlier, as Jamie F1 becomes the second McLaren to have a spin today. And down to P6 he goes, and
here comes Tier on QBV. Sorry to interrupt, Ghost. They went side by side for a moment. Tier got himself up a place at turn 3 there. Just caught the last little bits of that, but that's Tier up into P7. He'll be looking to progress a lot further in this race, and I'd be interested to see how the strategies all play out. But these gaps are very, very big. They're very everyone's got themselves settled in, and I think that's a product of the new approach to tyres.
Yeah, definitely. We've got another yellow flag. Who's that? Is that Jamie F1 again? Going for another spin. Down to P8. Those tyres. One thing on this game, after the recent performance patch, tyre temperatures are critical, and Jamie is just seeing that there. He's had a couple of spins and already going way deep, and another spin for him. And yeah, if your tyres are off temperature, you are really going to struggle on this game. As he resets the track, I hope he doesn't do that in the real season.
Yes,
but,
indeed.
Yes, it's very difficult to keep your tyre temps in check now, and you've really got to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, it is. You've really got to manage those tyres, especially after a spin. You've got to just try and take it easy and let them cool down, so you don't overdo it and end up meeting barrier. I think Jamie has come into the pits. I think those tyres might have been a little bit too worn away in the various pirouettes that he's done on the circuit.
Yeah. I think that's a sensible decision for Jamie F1, hoping for a safety car. I don't know how likely it is that he'll get one with only 10 cars on the grid and the walls being so far away on this track. But yeah, I do think that's a sensible decision from him. Just reset and get some practicing, because that's what this pre-season is all about.
He's put on the soft tyres there. I'm not sure exactly why. He probably could have put on the mediums. I think he started on hards, if I remember rightly. Perhaps the Ferrari strategists are stepping in for McLaren today. But we'll wait and see how that plays off for Jamie F1. Whenever we do get a safety car out in the lead, it's a 4-second gap for Sir Swindu. He's just stretching his legs out there, well ahead of the others. Not really a big battle going on at the top. It's still Mr. J-Man and JBS Steve who are going wheel to wheel, chasing one another through this sector, and it looks like JBS Steve might have found an opening as he goes and has a little look around the outside, but doesn't quite get the move. Stuck off as Mr. J-Man covers him off on the inside, but he's going to have another go again. This is the outside again for the McLaren as they go side by side down toward the corner. Oh, J-Man squeezes him as much as he dares. Lucky not to come together there. I think he just about saw how close he was, and that's J-Man defending with everything he's got.
This is brilliant. I'm really enjoying this battle between these two. I hope they're enjoying it as well. But it is the only battle on track at the moment, as you say. So you know, pre-season, it's all about getting that practice in. But it is good to see two drivers still going for it as if they are fighting for a championship. These two just fighting for a P8 in a pre-season race, but you wouldn't guess it. This is great stuff between the Williams and the McLaren.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that McLaren does look fairly racy on those medium tyres, but as the race goes on, those hards will come into their own. As JBS Steve is looking for a way past, he was having a look toward the inside of that fast right-hander, but he backed off and thought better of it, trying to use the superior grip on those tyres as J-Man goes wide. He goes very wide on the exit. That opens the door for JBS Steve, who comes straight through. No need to ask him twice, and he moves himself up into P8. But J-Man is going to stay with him and maybe go on the attack once again as they come towards turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's not over yet. I think those hards have come into their window, and Mr. J-Man, he's got the DRS and he's got far more in the battery as well. About 50% more than JBS Steve, so he's not going to... Oh, he's braked too late into turn 1 and hit the back of the McLaren. I wonder if there's damage to that Williams. I hope not, because it would end this lovely battle. But I think there might... No, there's no damage, no visual damage. So hopefully he's okay, but he has lost that DRS range from the McLaren.
Oh,
so
that snuck along. Selleker as right behind Muhiti. Muhiti's struggling in the latter stages.
I think it is those hards coming into their window. The medium's starting to trail off a bit, and Salo KRT, after a truly awful start, he's right back in this race, in the race for P4, and in fact, after penalties, he is in provisional P4 at the moment, so he's doing well, the Alfa Romeo driver. Mr. J-Man not able to close down that gap to JBS Steve, so he might just have a tiny amount of damage to that Williams that we can't see, which would be very unfortunate, but it was a great battle and well worth it, but just a small mistake has cost Mr. J-Man in the end.
Yeah, certainly. So Muhiti will want to do everything he can to try and keep that position. He might have to yield it at some point, but not for now. The lack of effect that the DRS has at the moment means that closing up to the back of a driver using it is much harder, as Jamie F1 has gone for a spin down in sector 3. That's at turn 12.
He's really not having a good time on this track, Jamie F1, unfortunately. Got more yellow flags. Is that Sir Swindu from the lead? It is! He's spun from the lead of the race in the Alpha Tauri. He's managed to keep it just about, but Sir Deadman is now 5/10 behind, and those mediums are really starting to hurt the drivers that are still on them. Sir Deadman in the Aston Martin right behind, and he's going to look for the move perhaps into this right-hander. He can't quite make it stick, but they're going to go wheel to wheel through this next part of the lap.
Well, this race certainly livened up as we start to approach the halfway point, as these two are beginning to go at it now, and I wonder if we might see the medium runners start to find their way into the pit lane.
He's in.
He is in. In comes our leader then. Doesn't want to risk putting any more stress on those tyres if he can help it. That's going to promote Sir Deadman in, and it's going to make his life a little bit harder when it comes to those strategy calls.
It's going to make his life even harder, that 5-second penalty for pit lane speeding. So, yeah, he was didn't quite get that right. Muhiti in as well. So, yeah, those mediums definitely coming to the end of their life. Tier has stayed out. QB also stayed out. What's JBS Steve going to do? Also going to stay out for now. So, the top two medium runners are in, but the rest just keeping on track for now. As Muhiti crawls out of the pits. So Swindu is just behind Tier, so he does have a little bit of traffic, but I think he will clear it no problems at all. As Jamie F1's day is getting worse every couple of minutes at the moment.
Hitty's come out just behind Mr. J-Man, as Mr. J-Man goes a little bit wide. Yeah, that's retired. That's on track, it seems. Whether he's crashed or not, we'll try and see as Sir Deadman is approaching just now. And you might be able to see him. He'll be on the right-hand side of your screen, and he's gone, so we won't be able to see that as it's despawned for the moment.
Well, I'll let things like that slide for pre-season, but obviously, for the real season, that is race ban material, retiring on track. So, I'm sure Jamie F1 knows that. He's been with us a while now, so
Certainly so. And the races once again spread themselves out, but we are beginning to see some strategy come into effect. So it's all on Sir Swindu now. He's got to do the best he can on those hard tyres, so that when the top three do come in for their stop, he can try and catch them out.
one extra aspect on this year's game is, well, I was mentioning tyre temps earlier, but also when you're coming out of the pits, your tyres being cold really affect you, at least for the first sort of half a lap that you're out the pits. It's so difficult to get round corners. You're understeering around every corner for half a lap at least. And it costs you a lot of time. We saw that with Sir Swindu coming out the pits just now. He came out around 1.2 seconds behind Tier. By the end of the lap, he was 2 seconds behind. But now the tyres are in the temperature window. He is in DRS range again. So it just shows you that if you can get those tyres into optimum temperature range faster when you come out the pits, you're going to have a big advantage.
Yeah, certainly so. It's even harder on those hard tyres. It's almost a lap that it takes to warm them up. They feel like absolute ice as you sort of come out onto the pits. They've always been horrible to warm up, but this year's game even more so. So Swindu has caught the back of Tier and is looking to get the job done ASAP.
And Tier goes wide. I think this is going to give the AlphaTauri an opportunity as they come into the last couple of corners, and Tier says, "You're not in my race. I'm just going to let you by without too many problems." And so Swindu up to P4, traffic cleared. Free track in front of him up to Solokot, 4 seconds up the road as QB comes in. So Tier is the last man to start on the mediums that is still going for his first stint.
QB running fairly strong at the moment in P6.
Yeah.
A decent race thus far. Then Mahiti has just jumped in there. He should come out just ahead of Mr. J-Man. Mr. J-Man's rounding the final corner now. They might even be racing as they exit, perhaps. I don't know, it's going to be close between the two of them. I think J-Man might just jump him. He does.
Be
So
close to
QB
JBS Steve though, because
and
he's gone for a spin. Oh no, QB, and that just shows you how difficult it is when you're coming out the pits. Those fresh tyres, so cold, and you've got to be so tentative and careful for the first half a lap. And QB has just discovered that. And unfortunate because we could have had a battle between him and JBS Steve, I think. But yeah, he's going to be hoping for a safety car as Deadman comes in. So we've got to watch to see where he comes out in relation to Sir Swindu.
So Swindu is currently 25 seconds down the road, but that is plummeting as it goes. So we'll wait and see where he is. He's just come through into the last couple of corners, into 13 and 14 now. And so Deadman is almost at the pit exit, so I think his outlap was not very good at all. And so Deadman is going to be provisionally in the lead.
Certainly is, but he's going to be on those cold tyres, and watch that gap come down. It's going to be, as they come across the line, about 7 seconds or so. So watch that plummet, I reckon, down to at least 6 seconds in the first half of this lap. Tier has finally come in. He's coming for the soft tyres, so Tier going for a medium soft strategy, the only one to do it. And he's going to be hoping to get those softs all the way to the end, but 12 laps on those tyres is going to be very tricky indeed.
Yeah, certainly so. It's a very aggressive and very risky strategy, and I think those softs might start feeling the brunt of time, where toward the latter stages of this race but we have thoroughly passed the halfway point now, and we're still waiting for Mr. Insomniac and Cello KRT to come in to make their stops.
Yep, those are the only two who haven't stopped yet. Mr. J-Man came in early, of course, after that front wing with incident with QB. Yeah, so Swindu, as I said, that gap has come down to 6 seconds. Now it's going to be pure pace. Those tyres will be warmed up, and Sir Deadman on the superior tyre, 6 seconds clear. It's difficult to imagine him losing this race, to be honest, in the Aston Martin. I think Sir Swindu, with that spin, has effectively cost himself this race because he's on the opposite strategy to his rival, and Deadman is going to have the better tyres up until the last couple of laps, but I think the gap will be big enough by then for it not to matter. So Mr. Insomniac is the last unknown. He hasn't pitted quite yet as Cello KRT comes in, and he's only around 3 seconds behind Muhiti on better tyres.
Going to be under threat from Tyr here almost immediately as he's on those brand new soft tyres which are now up to temperature, and that Aston Martin's all over the back of that Alfa Romeo, and I think he might just make short work of him, and he's already trying to pull alongside as they go toward the straight now, and they're already side by side, and Tyr just takes that slightly wider line, looking to get the job done as early as possible. Tucks himself into the slipstream of the Alfa Romeo, pulls alongside now, and they'll go side by side all the way down to the corner. I think the Alfa Romeo trying to fight this as much as he can. Tyr taking a big chunk of the corner there. Surprised he didn't get a penalty for that, but has managed to find himself up into P5.
Great little mini battle between those two. KRT, those tyres will just about be coming into the window, so it's not over yet. If the Alfa Romeo can keep up with Tyr, those softs are going to run out very quickly as he's gone for a spin. Oh no, Tyr, it's all gone wrong. Those soft tyres, they were looking really good for him, and now just a bit too much of the curb, and out of the battle again. But still in the race at least.
Commentator's curse strikes once again. I think Mr. Insomniac might do a hard soft.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing. He's really extending that stint. Tyr has gone for another spin. Those tyres really too hot after the first spin, and Tyr not adjusting his driving quite enough to mitigate that disadvantage. And he's down to P7 now, unfortunately.
I was just about to say, Tyr's got 14 seconds of penalties, so I don't think it would have mattered too much whether Cello Kurt was behind him or in front of him as he spins for the third time.
Oh no, Tyr.
At the exit of turn 2 there. Not a good time as QB is now catching up on those hard tyres a little bit further back. It's about a corner behind now.
Keep an eye on that gap between.
Oh, there goes Tyr again.
Oh no, Tyr, please, just get some new tyres on, my man. Just get some mediums on and get to the end. Oh no. But yeah, keep an eye on that gap between Cello KRT and Muhiti. That has come down quite a lot, and it's still coming down less than 3 seconds now. I know Muhiti has 9 seconds of penalties, but the Alfa Romeo is still going to definitely want to finish ahead on track and get that P4, as Tyr looks like he's gone for yet another spin.
It's one of them occasions where you don't want to watch, but you can't look away.
Poor Tyr.
Hopefully they cool down enough along this straight. He comes in again. Oh, Tyr. Very risky. No, he's managed to make it through those corners this time. Perhaps the temperatures are much more manageable at the minute. Yeah, that time is coming down, as you say, Ghost, and Cello KRT is putting in the work to try and catch on to the back of Muhiti in that Ferrari.
He's looking pretty good, Cello KRT. He was, I think he joined us for maybe 1 or 2 races as a reserve last season in the previous game. And he was sort of mid-grid, maybe sort of mid to low mid-grid But now he's looking well on pace with Muhiti, who was one of our strongest drivers last season. So he's looking pretty good in that Alfa Romeo, I think. And that gap already down to 2 seconds. Muhiti's getting another penalty, trying desperately to keep that gap up, but it's not working. It's still coming down as JBS Steve gets himself another penalty, and that's Tier for another spin, unfortunately, at turn 2.
That was a big shame for Tier. He was having a relatively decent race, and now he just continues to suffer with spinning and spinning. Mr. Insomniac still hasn't come into the pit lane, so he's really leaving this late. And that gap is just coming down and down and down. The longer he waits, the harder his job's going to be when he does come in for a new set of tyres, which will definitely be softs.
I think he'll be in this lap, to be honest. I'm not certain how long the softs last, but it can't be much less than 7 laps, I would imagine. If they last for 5 lappers, surely they're going to last for a couple more laps than that in a 50% race. Cello KRT nearly within that 1 second range of Muhiti, so we're going to have a battle pretty soon. It's been a little bit spread out for a while, but that Alfa Romeo reeling in the Ferrari as we come to the closing stages of the race.
Yes, certainly. So we might see a battle as well. Once Mr. Insomniac comes in, he gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. So that's not going to help his campaign up in the podium fight at the moment. We'll wait and see where he comes out. I think he'll come out quite far ahead of Muhiti as the softs are now on his car, and he is making his way out of the pit lane. So Deadman has passed, so Swindu is about to pass. Maybe they'll be racing on exit. No, straight past goes his teammate, and Insomniac's got some work to do. But both AlphaTauris have penalties, so Sir Deadman looks set for this win, and he's got a 7.8 second lead, 7.9 second lead now.
Yeah, that lead's just gone up and up, really, because he's been on the better tyre than Sir Swindu, and just been driving better in general. Swindu looked like he had this race done and dusted in the first stint, but after that spin, it's all turned on its head, and I reckon he's going to be in big trouble from his teammate towards the end of this race. Mr. Insomniac has 2 seconds fewer penalties as well than Sir Swindu, so all he needs to do is get within that 2 second range for P2. But I'm sure, I know they know each other, Mr. Insomniac and Swindu, so I'm sure he'll be wanting to pass his mate on track as well.
Yeah, certainly. So Deadman definitely benefiting from was it Sir Swindu spinning? I believe it was.
Yes, Sir Swindu.
Toward the end of his stint on the medium tyre, and is going to be kicking himself for that at the moment. But the race has calmed down a little. Cello KRT though is still closing on the back. He's still not quite within the DRS range, which is under a second, but he's trying to chip away at Muhiti and try and get as close as he can in these closing stages.
Yeah, the gap it came down to about 1.3 and then just stopped coming down. He hasn't been able to get in DRS range. I wonder if that's ERS related. I don't know if Muhiti was deploying more these last couple of laps, but they seemed pretty even the last time I looked at them. So, yeah, a bit of an odd one this. Cello KRT just losing a bit of the pace that he was showing a few laps ago, and not able to catch up to the back of the Ferrari enough to get the DRS. So I'm wondering if he's backed off because he knows Muhiti has penalties, or if that's a genuine pace deficit that he's suffering at the moment. Although it's just about teetering over that edge of 1 second, isn't it, at the moment? So yeah, we might see a battle fairly soon, maybe.
It's creeping in slowly. He's tripping and chipping away at it, but I think he needs to try and save a bit of ERS if he can. He's got within a second now, but no DRS on this occasion, as the DRS detection point is as you come out of turn 5. so he wasn't in that range at that particular moment. Another 3-second time penalty for Tier. That'll bring his count up to 17.
I think he might be retiring in the pit lane soon.
I think he might be.
So Swindu in the pits. So Swindu is pitting. What's happening here? I don't know if he's just wanting fastest lap or if there's something else going on. Maybe he just wants a battle. But he is in the pits. I think he's going to come out behind Muhiti and Cello KRT. So this could be very interesting towards the end. He's going to serve as penalty as well, yeah, as you say. So, yeah, he's going to go down to P5. But Muhiti and Cello KRT now within a second of each other. So this is the battle to watch. Can the Alfa Romeo get within range of that Ferrari and make the overtake? Doesn't matter in terms of the results. It is going to be for the podium places, but those penalties from Muhiti are going to drop him behind the Alfa Romeo regardless. But as I say, you always want to make the pass on track just to make absolutely sure.
Yeah, certainly. And you could always get yourself a penalty, and then you're just in a situation of that you're just racing, so you want to get up ahead, and it's a race. You want to overtake other cars. You want to go wheel to wheel. That's what makes it exciting. That's what makes it all worth it. Is the chance to put yourself up against some of the best in the league and see what you can do. But a lot of drivers opting for the softs in these closing stages. Tier actually putting a set of softs on himself. Hopefully they will treat him better than the last.
And just as you say that, Sumo, Cello KRT gets himself a 3-second time penalty.
Jamie F1's out? Has he been out for a while now?
Yeah, he's been out for ages.
Oh, he has been out for ages.
He retired after spinning about 7 times.
He did. I think I'm very, very tired at the moment, so...
No worries. Snap. But, yeah, Cello KRT with the 3-second time penalty. It's not going to cost him in the grand scheme of things. Muhiti has 12 seconds, but it will put a seed of doubt in his mind. And with Sir Swindu approaching at a rate of knots, he's already caught by 2.5 seconds in just 1 lap. So that AlphaTauri is still going to claim his podium spot by the end, I think, after Cello's penalty. But Cello just losing time in this first sector to Muhiti, so he's not able to get the DRS, and a little mistake there, just having to catch the car on the exit of, I think that's turn 7. He did get DRS just about, but he's back out of that 1 second range. So yeah, it's proving tricky for the Alfa Romeo to stick with his rival for what is currently P3, but by the end is going to be P4.
Yeah, he's doing best he can. I'll have another look at the penalty situation, as I've accidentally got rid of all of my UI. I'll have a little look. Is it 12 seconds for Muhiti, 12 for J-Man, 15 for Tier, 6 for QB, and 3 for JBS Steve, Cello KRT, and Insomniac. So he's not going to do too much, does the Alfa Romeo, even with that penalty. But like we keep saying, he wants to get it on track and find himself on the podium for this pre-season race.
Absolutely. There's 5 tenths now between Cello KRT and Muhiti, so the Alfa Romeo finally within range, but Sir Swindu sets the fastest lap, and he is right behind them now. So Muhiti gets himself another penalty, but Sir Swindu is charging up, and he is going to, I'm sure, overtake both of them. But how much is that going to affect their mutual battle? But he's gotten himself a 3-second time penalty, Sir Swindu. So now he is racing for position with Cello KRT in these last couple of laps. So we are going to have an actual race for position on our hands, Sumo, which isn't affected by penalties towards the end. And Cello is going to have to defend this for his life in order to get that podium as he turns to the inside of Muhiti to try and take this position and put a car between him and
contact!
There's contact, and Cello is spun round, and oh dear, it's always difficult to get 2 cars through that section, but yeah, I don't think I don't think that could have possibly gone worse for Cello KRT. Didn't really deserve that. He's had a fantastic race today.
Yeah, he has, and Sir Swindu made short work of Muhiti after the contact and finds himself back on the podium with relative ease. Didn't have to work for it too much.
It's had another spin, Cello. And Muhiti is waiting for him, but he's going to be waiting a while. I think Muhiti has acknowledged that that contact was his fault, and he's going to try and let the Alfa Romeo back through, but Cello is just spinning and spinning on those now boiling hot tyres, and he's now lost the position to JBS Steve even, so yeah, that's a shame for Cello, but it is only pre-season, there's no points on offer today, and he can be pretty happy with the pace that he has shown.
Oh, in the interest of on-track battles, Tia and J-Man away dueling towards the back, both on 15 seconds of time penalties. Tia had a little mistake, and J-Man very lucky not to go straight into the back of him as J-Man opens up his DRS and soars past the Aston Martin.
Good stuff from the two of them. They are racing for position as well, as you say. Tia is... they're about to be caught by, I think that's Swindu to be lapped, so possibly some blue flags are going to get involved.
Yes, possibly.
Yeah, but I think that's the only thing going on at the moment.
It's the final lap, Ghost, so I don't think it's going to matter too much very soon. Although they might get ahead.
This is the final lap. They're racing for position. They are both lapped, so this is it between the two of them as they come to the final corner. Oh no, sorry, the leader's already passed the line, so they do have another lap to go, these two, as they both let Sir Swindu through, and Mr. J-Man's taken full advantage of that, gets himself into P8, and I think that will be job done for the Williams between the battle between those two.
Indeed, and looks like that battle has fizzled out, and so we'll ride on board then with our race leader. He put it on pole at the start, or was it Swindu? No, it was Deadman.
It was Deadman on pole, yeah.
Yeah, and after a horrible start, has managed to get himself back into the lead of the race, and is coming through the final complex of corners now, turns 13, 14 and 15 to come around and win this pre-season race over here in Tier 2 for Aston Martin. Coming around the final corner right now, car number 69 going all the way down the straight to claim a win here in Tier 2. And it's Sir Deadman crossing the line and going from pole to flag with a few little bumps in the way, with Sir Swindu's spin helping him out a lot there. Mr. Insomniac comes home in P2, and Sir Swindu a few seconds down the road will come home in P3. I think J-Man and Tia have reignited their little battle, and Tia, he's looking for a way around the outside. It's very close between them, but J-Man left him as much room as he dare as Tia takes out a DRS sign, and they come across the line in P8 and 9 respectively.
Great little battle between the two at the end. Yeah, Muhiti comes across P4, Cello KRT a disappointing P5, but he can be proud of his pace today. QB gets an extra position on JBS Steve, who I think has lagged out the lobby. But QB is also another driver who's been not too far off today. He's been alright, so encouraging signs.
Indeed. Well, that's waiting for QB and JBS to cross the line. They've got a little fight on their hands, and I think a QB will drop a place because of how close JBS Steve is to him in terms of penalties. So QB will finish P7 and JBS Steve P6.
Absolutely. Driver of the day, JBS Steve. think commentator's driver of the day for me, I'd say probably Cello KRT. I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because he was showing some really good pace, drove really well, very consistent. A shame about the contact at the end, but it can happen. And yeah, very good. But obviously, congratulations to the winner, Sir Deadman, as well.
Yeah, huge congratulations to all of our podium sitters and all of our racers this evening for just coming along and joining us for some pre-season action before the league gets started fully in the near future. But Sir Deadman then takes the win here in France for the Tier 2 pre-season, with Mr. Insomniac coming home P2, with Sir Swindu rounding off the podium and claiming the fastest lap of the race. Muhiti comes home in P4 with Cello KRT, our commentator's driver of the day, rounding off the top 5. QBV finishes in P6 with JBS Steve P7, so those penalties not changing their positions as I thought they might. With Mr. J-Man P8 and Tier P9, and Jamie and Mason not finishing the race.
Yep, fastest lap to Sir Swindu as well, so he gets that extra point, but of course no points on offer today. Just giving us some info and giving everyone a chance to practice, but good race overall, I think.
Thank you, dude. I hope you enjoyed the stream, Blaze. It was a decent race from you for a P2. It was a good race that we finally got around to doing it, and those will be the first lap records on the board, am I right?
It certainly will. Yep, absolutely.
There we go. So well done to Sir Swindu and Sir Deadman for getting yourselves on the fastest lap board right away. And I don't know if Tier 1's here at France, but for their pre-season in a couple of days' time, but I'm sure they'll be putting in some lap records as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got a lot of APPF1 pre-season to come. I'm looking forward to it. I hope everyone in the comments is as well, and I hope you are too, Sumo. Yeah, a couple of weeks and then we'll get started with the new season.
Yes, certainly. I'm looking forward to it. I'm interested to see what this game can do for league racing. And for all of our competitors here, we're going to crown some new champions. We're going to have some incredible races, and there'll be some new highlights yet to come, I'm sure, for the next annual APPF1 awards at the end of the game season. But that is all to come, all within the future, and I do quickly once again apologise for all of the technical issues we've had today. Hopefully those will be ironed out when the season does get underway fully. I want to give a big shout out to all our APPF1 affiliates and all our drivers today. Some of them do stream their races, so if you can manage to find them online, then please do go check out their perspective of the races, as it's always nice to see. Make sure you go and check out our sponsor, Positive Perception Media Design Products, as we really appreciate their support over here on the Tier 2 streams, sorry. And I think that's all I've got. Anything else to add, Ghost?
Nothing from me, mate.
Alrighty then, so it was nice to be back for the start of the pre-season, and we'll be doing more of these as we go along. And like I say, hopefully we'll be racing for points very, very soon. But that is going to be it for this evening. I hope you have enjoyed. We will see you, or I will possibly see some of you on Friday for the Tier 1 pre-season, but Ghost and I will see you again on Tuesday for some more Tier 2 action. But I have been Sumo.
I have been Ghost.
And we will see you next time. See you later.
See ya.